All right, hard yarners, welcome to this week's episode. This week we are joined by absolute fucking weapon.
A huge weapon. Mass destruction.
Erchana, who has broken recently the world record for back-to-back marathons.
Yeah, we've joined on day number 118 today. But before we officially introduce, we got a massive shout out. Thank you to Patreon Katie Brown, I think it is.
Yes, Kate Brown. Thank you for joining.
And the kind words. People
yes.
that don't know what Patreon is, it's like OnlyFans, but for podcasts. And, there's bonus podcast episodes, there's discounts, there's merch and everything for joining at different levels. So check that out. We've got our Christmas party this Sunday for listeners. So if you want to come for free, join the Patreon. But also listeners are welcome to come if you just send us a DM, because we've got a brand new sponsor.
Oh my God. This week's episode is brought to you by
Raunchy Brewing Co.
Raunchy, formerly known as maybe an adult entertainment business, but now they've gone into brewing alcohol and they're on board. So that's really cool. Just like Erchana, she has a sponsor for beer.
Young Henry.
What did we speak about today? Because you're a fucking weapon running so many marathons back to back. Do you remember what we spoke about? Are you brain fogged?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's going on.
So this is your chance to shine, Erchana. Give us the wrap up.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Yeah, we spoke about everything. We spoke about all the crazy stuff I've seen since the start, the injuries that I've had to overcome, what it feels like mentally and physically to run 100 and now 18 marathons in a row, facing another 32 into the finish line. Yeah, everything that has gone wrong, the animals I've seen, the people I've met, and all of the cool things that I can eat.
Yes. And the previous record holders, how they fucked up monumentally.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And how we found someone that did exactly what Nat Brockman did, but no one knows about it.
Yeah.
I know. Give him a big shout out.
Power of marketing.
But thanks so much. It's a fucking awesome episode. You're going to love this, listeners.
And if you want to come to Planet Comedy next Friday, discount code is Hard Yarns. Thank you. All right, let's get hard.
Let's get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Brand.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Hello.
Hello.
Finally there. We finally meet in person. Right. Well, not really in person, but
Zoom person.
yeah.
Looking pretty fresh considering.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, I haven't showered yet or anything. We jumped in. I finished my marathon in Katoomba, jumped in the car, came into Sydney, got to the Airbnb, thought I was ready, and then they didn't tell us the unit number of the Airbnb.
Oh.
And so I was at the door trying to put the code in, and there's these 4 20-something-year-olds open it, and I was like, and I had the bike, support bike, all the food, and so that's why I was a bit late, because then we had to try and contact this guy and work out which unit number it was. So I'm here.
Sweet. That's exactly. How far is that Katoomba from Sydney? We've got pretty much no knowledge of the East Coast because we live in a different country in Perth.
About an hour and 45 minutes drive.
Right. Why drive when you can run?
I will run it. I run it in sections, but you can't. Sometimes you can't camp in the middle of Sydney. So we just had to sort of set up camp here, and then I'll go back and run in tomorrow morning, if that makes sense.
Right. So I haven't been following deliberately because I've got just random questions to ask that I reckon people will want to know. So are you from New South Wales, or you started in Queensland or somewhere else, or?
I started at the top running.
Yep.
I started at the Cape York. So the very tip, that sign that says, you're at the most northern part of Australia. Yeah. So I started there, hand on that.
That's the tip of Australia.
Absolutely. And then I won't stop till I hit the top of mainland Australia, so Melbourne, right on the port.
Wow. Right.
Well, thank you firstly for making me feel totally emasculated for running 100 kilometers thinking I'm fucking King Dick, and then you go and run What do you want? 116 marathons in a row? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm on 118 today. So clicked over 5,000 Ks or just around in and around 5,000 Ks today. So yeah, it's been a big one.
So and around just the tip. There's a lot of innuendos to start the potty off.
Well, all the comments on the socials have, I've had a few.
I was going to ask as well. You're so you broke the record at 107 days. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Now, is this a Guinness World Record or just like a marathoning club world record? Or
yeah, it's a Guinness World Record. So it's there's not really governing bodies for these kind of events. So Guinness is kind of your stock standard. Guinness World Record was 106. It's so strange. It was tied by 3 women in England and the UK. I was like, why didn't one of them run an extra one? I have no idea.
It's like the Mark Taylor when he reached Bradman's thing and retired. Out of respect.
Out of respect. No, fuck that.
You show no respect.
I can break the world record. I can be better than anyone else, but I'm not going to. Like, that doesn't.
Maybe that was some weird psychological breaking point where they were like, I've done 106. I can't fucking do another day.
It did my head in for so long that I had to ask. So I actually reached out and said, why didn't one of you run 107? And the reason was because they were both aiming for 100 because at the time 95 was the record. And then knowing that they were going for it like neck and neck, they both went off socials and went ghost. But then so neither of them knew that they'd both stopped at 106.
Fucking idiots. Oh man.
Oh Jesus.
Fuck. That's that universal consciousness there coming into play. They both stop at 106. Wow. So what, you've just put it up on socials the whole time, like
got to 107. I was like, cheers, girls. Thanks for stopping.
That's great.
So I'd been following you slightly, like keeping abreast of what was going on, especially once I started training for the run. I was checking all the people who are doing all the runs and stuff. And then you reached out to me after I did the 100, and it was really nice to get a message from that. And I really looked into what you're doing, and I felt
she did it by purpose.
Yeah, I was like, are you just fucking rubbing salt to the wound here?
Yeah,
like,
that's well done.
Good job.
That's a cute little 100 you did.
But like, what's the? So I know how I felt after one. And 100 kilometers in a day is obviously a lot, but I know how I felt for 3 or 4 days after. I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything. How do you feel after 118 days now, back to back, doing a marathon every day? Like, that's got to be horrific on your body.
It is. Yeah, I'm tired of being tired, to be honest with you. I'm tired of whinging about being tired. I'm constantly, I've got the brain fog is next level. And just the ability to nap during the day is world class as well. I'll probably try and nap every day if I can. But you know what? Interestingly, I'm okay. I don't have any niggles anymore. I feel good. Like, I get up and I run the next day, and every single day I surprise myself. Because I'm working this out as I go. I don't know if I can do another one, 2 more, 3 more. But every single day I seem to be okay. I've noticed I've got no strength on the hills anymore. Being in Katoomba, for everyone that knows, is very hilly. It's essentially the top of a mountain ridge. So it's any run is down. Yeah.
You're in the Blue Mountains for a while there.
That's it. Yeah, it's the Blue Mountains. So you're not really going anywhere flat. So that really did cook me more than I thought it would be fun being in the mountains, but I just don't have any strength anymore.
You're like, oh, I love the views, but fuck this.
Yeah. So you're tired all the time. You're tired of being tired, and you want naps. So you're just a mum.
Yeah, my baby is 42 Ks.
Yeah.
Because that's what I noticed after the 100 is the hills and the stairs, and still now going up the hills, I notice. So you must be on another level, just continuous. Like, are you constantly doing ice baths? Constantly? It's got to be a lot of mindset as well, hey?
I'm not doing anywhere near enough recovery. To be honest with you, don't even have time. Like, by the time I sit down, I mean, it'll be 6:30 by the time I even sit down for dinner today, because we constantly have to set up camp, pack down camp, move, do all your ordinary stuff, make sure your clothes are clean and ready. I'm doing school visits, podcasts, I'm sharing my message. The best recovery I have is sleep and food, and I sort of clutch onto that like it's the only thing that matters. But I've had 3 massages in 118 days. And
I had more in one day in Bali.
I was about to say, that's just a standard Thailand trip, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's about it. I did 1 float tank, which to be honest was a waste of time because I slept the entire way.
I can't do float tanks. I freak out. I'm like, no, I'm not doing enough. And I get out. I got out like 20 minutes before the hour was up.
Do you get bored?
Fucking oath.
Yeah. I find it's hard. Yeah.
Have you done that cryotherapy?
Yeah, where I just get emotionally abusing and cry until I realize I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, that's called dating, crying therapy. Nah, I haven't done the cryotherapy. There's one down the road for me, but because me personally, I'm what do you call it? Shit. So my body, I've had 5 back surgeries, and I haven't extended myself enough to do it. But Branchy's probably a better candidate for it.
Well, Delby ran his longest run in 100 kilometers. He came and joined and ran a leg with me.
Yeah, so I think it was 15K.
And you would definitely empathize with this. Sorry, I'm looking at a screen and the camera. You would empathize with this. I guess having people come along and join along the ride, it really buoys you, and it gives you that sort of motivation to keep going. And it's supportive, and it makes you feel like you've got that support.
Have you had people join you on the way?
Yeah, absolutely. I've barely had any solo runs. I mean, this Sunday I'm doing a run through Sydney in Centennial Park, where it's pretty much everyone can come and join. I always say where I'm starting, roughly the pace and where we'll go. But I've been inundated with people running with me. It's been amazing.
Like a female Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me nervous though, because if I'm on my own, I can just kind of stop and walk if I need, or I can, just whinge to myself and be in a bad headspace and just, plod through it. But if there's people around, I've got this second expectation to be a bit more up and a bit more, at it. And sometimes it makes me nervous, but once they're there and I've got people with me, it's, it just lifts you up. So it's all.
Are they always strangers? Or are they friends?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say friends you haven't met yet.
Yeah. Because I mean, runners have this weird little like club. Like runners have like a runners club, even if you're not like in the same area. If you run together, you just have this weird bond. Yeah,
well, as soon as she messaged me, I was like, I felt connected because we had both gone through like that hard yards. Yeah, pardon the pun, but
and I feel connected because I know how to run.
Well, Delby had his 14 kilometers. Was great, but as he finished, I'd run a full marathon.
Yeah, nuts.
And then I still had another 62 kilometers to go or something. But
so did you
14 Ks? How'd they feel?
It was great. It was because we had 3 or 4 of us, and I was meeting Branchy's running partner for the first time. We basically just had a chinwag for 10 of the Ks, and I probably could have gone a little bit further, but I had to marry people in the afternoon because I'm a celebrant. And I didn't want to like collapse at their wedding. But I probably only had another 4 or 5 Ks in me, I reckon. But it felt good. It was an hour and a half. What did we do? Like 5.5 minute Ks? Or 550 Ks?
Definitely not that far.
Longer?
Oh, maybe at that stage we were running about 6.5.
Yeah.
But because we had a bit of a tactical. We were going to run at a certain pace. But
what have you done the cryotherapy, or are you still?
No, I'm considering it. I've just been hearing a lot of chatter about it lately, and wondering if it's something. I feel like for me, time efficiency is what I want. Like get out will help me. So I'm just wondering now. I'm in Sydney, should I give it a whirl? But
well, I feel like maybe if you haven't done it so far, don't risk it. Imagine if it's not it just makes you too recovered and you don't want to run.
Yeah.
But the Blue Mountains was cryotherapy enough. It was freaking 3 degrees this morning when I woke up.
Oh my God, that's not enjoyable.
So I was going to ask a couple of questions. So number one, the first thing I think, and I reckon a lot of people would want to know this. So you're running for 150 days straight. That means you're not working, or you are working for 150 days straight. How are you funding your life?
Yeah, great question. I quit my job to do this.
Wow, we love the old.
Yeah. What was it? What was the job?
turned the table up. So I'm a nutritionist, but I wasn't working specifically as a nutritionist. I was running the supply chain, running the, I guess, business where I was importing food, like organic, whole foods from overseas and selling it to everyone in Australia. So during COVID, it was intense because, all the ships were, doing crazy things and there was no supply chain. So that was my job prior.
Now had a ship lock in it at some point. Did that affect you when they stuck the ship in there?
Yep, that was. Oh yeah, in the Suez. Yeah, absolutely it did. Yeah.
Oh.
Like everything went wrong in the last 2 years, and I only was in this role for 12 months, and I feel like the world was just telling me to get out just by stressing me out so much. It wasn't good. That was my job, so I did quit. And I'm sort of funding this trip through, I guess, savings, a little bit of sponsorship, and just the kindness of strangers.
That's awesome.
Is that like couch surfing along the way and that sort of stuff as well?
We've been donated a camper, so shout out to Track About. It's off-road camper because we needed a specific thing to get to the Cape, right? Yeah. So you need an off-road vehicle. So we pretty much can't. But you know what's like? We're back in civilization now. It was going to be $186 a night to camp in where were we? Northern, just above Sydney. I was like, almost $200 a night to camp. So we went straight past there.
There's a few people in Perth City that do that for free. I mean, surely, if you just do it, what are they going to do if you don't pay? They're not going to pick you up and kick you out of the park, are they?
I think they do. I think they actually do. Yeah.
They actually
move you along, yeah.
Wow.
Or they fine you, hey? Is that, I think, the case? Anyway,
wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if the fine is less than what it would cost to camp. It's like a $50 fine.
That. Isn't that what it was with petrol? Like the
drive off compared to what it was.
The fine.
Yeah.
So if you fill up your tank, you're saving more money.
Yeah. Yeah. Fire out. So you're living off the kindness. You're almost backpacking without any other means of transport. You're just doing a running backpacking tour of the East Coast.
Absolutely, I am. And I'm running to the next destination too. So it's a fine balance because you can just kind of keep up in a national park, but there's only so many days where I can shower in a river before I feel a bit.
That's fine. That's pretty cool though, because for me mentally, I couldn't do laps of a certain place and keep going. So you're constantly seeing something new. Each run, you're always going past something different. Yeah.
Oh, totally. And also the milestones, like Sydney right now, huge milestone. And being I remember Cooktown, the first town you see, was huge. Cairns, Brisbane. So you get these big kind of key boxes that you get to tick. Yeah. And it kind of feels like you're moving forward. And, Canberra's next and then Melbourne, and then I'm done. So you're 100% right. And one of the reasons I did it like this, going back to those girls that currently had the record, they just went around their block for 100.
That's horrendous.
Drive me nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. How ironic that the first town you reach is called Cooktown, and that's how your body's feeling. You're just you knew I was coming.
So another thing I wanted to know is why? One, so you must have been a runner.
Yeah, surely you were a runner before this.
It must have been established, you must have had a background in running, but tell us. But and then how do you just go from I don't know, do you go from I've done 5 marathons, I've done 2 in a row, I'm going to run 150 in a row? Where does that sort of...
Well, you have personal beef with those 2 ladies.
Yeah. At what point do you say, I am going to run 150 marathons back to back in a row to break the world record?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, because I am a runner, yes. I was a marathon runner quite competitively in Australia. I wouldn't say I was exceptionally good, but I was solid. And so I was training, 150K a week anyway. So that was fine. I'd always wanted to run the length of the country, but I didn't give myself any guidelines to do it. It was just going to be, today I feel like doing 20Ks. Today I feel like not running. There's no guidelines. It was just going to be.
Yeah.
And then kind of it just grew. I learned about the world record. I put 2 and 2 together, and then I learned about the guidelines of the records, and it kind of just steamrolled from there, if that makes sense. And I thought, all right, well, I'll put this with this and use it as, I guess, the gateway for all of the above. So that's kind of where
was just because you wanted to run the length of our country or a country in general.
No, our country. I don't know. It's just one of those things you think of when you're a kid and you also want to be like an astronaut and a pop star. You know, some of them don't happen, but this one I kind of made like happen. So yeah, it sort of grew and grew as the planning happened. And to be honest, it's changed on the run. I mean, traditionally I was going to go down, it's called the National Trail. It was the Bicentennial Trail. It's super off-road and very remote, but it didn't really work with me trying to share the cause. So it's already changed, like in Cooktown, where it starts, that's where I changed the route. So it's so many things are changing as they go.
Yeah.
But the second I
in there, changing routes, I'm just I can't get my head out of the gutter today.
Well,
not helping.
So you changed the route because you wanted to do the path unknown, or just to make it harder, or
to make it a bit more accessible for the support crew, to be honest with you, because I've got at the time I had 3 support people like crew, and then now I've got my partner who's crewing. So yeah, it wasn't accessible by vehicle at all. So I was just going to be out in the wilderness, and I don't know. I think that would be another mission altogether, but I don't trust myself with a Stanley knife and a bear. Not that, you know, like I don't have any survival skills.
Yeah, you might bump into a bloke walking camels.
Yeah.
We had John Elliott on, and this is like almost an on-foot version of what he did, minus the camels.
Yeah.
So it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, he walked 6 camels across Australia from what was it?
From the Queensland. Started went down to Tasmania, then up through the middle of Australia, finished in Gero. So you're doing like your own version of this on foot, which is so sick. Did you?
Camels.
Yeah. Did you like have so you've got a good track record, obviously, of doing marathons. Now, reaching out for these guys to give you a camper, like this off-road camper, they've got faith in you, obviously, because what if you do too? And now do you have to give it back, actually?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I was like, sick. Now you got a free car. But like, they'd have some faith in you to do it. And is that extra pressure now that you're like, right, I'm doing this. I've got these people behind me. I can't stop.
Oh, absolutely. And so at the top, for example, I got a really bad calf strain 2 weeks in.
Oh, so it's like Brenchie.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, and I was like, man, I'm 2 weeks into a 5.5-month expedition. You know, my partner had quit his jobs. I'd quit my job. I'd had 10 sponsors at this point. And, you know, I felt all of it. I just was overwhelmed by it. But at the end of the day, I kind of used that almost as motivation to keep going, if that makes sense. And it spurred me forward. And thankfully, I've had a lot of niggles and a lot of threats, but nothing that's actually derailed me so far. Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood.
And that's what I was like, because the mindset to push through those sorts of things, just the mindset to do 150 back-to-back, or 118 that you've done now, mindset must be super strong and super resilient. But there must be low points, because we see Ned Brockman, who just did the run across Australia as well, and you see moments where he's in tears, and it's not funny.
Cryotherapy.
He's proper cryotherapy. He's crying, and then the next story he'll put up, he's like, "Fuck, sorry about that. Oh, I got a bit emotional. I'm all good now. Like, we're going." Do you find yourself going through the highs and lows and like, "Fuck, I can't keep doing this"?
Or are women stronger than men, and you just?
I haven't cried once. There's been no hard moments. Zero hard moments in this. So I'm a roller coaster I go up and down about 8 times a day. You know, I mean, yeah, definitely. I want to quit all the time. But I just keep telling myself at that moment, it's like, is this when you want to quit? Is this you're out? And it has never been strong enough of a reason, you know?
That's cool.
It's never been strong enough. And I would just hate thinking back on my life, you know, get you're sentimental when you're old with your grandkids, and you think, oh, imagine if you tell them that you almost did something, you know, no, you want to tell them that you got all the
Actually, my granddad nearly swam across the English Channel. And it's so fucked. So when people ask, like when I talk about my granddad, I don't say he nearly did. I say he swam across. Yeah. He got there, and then with like 5 kilometers or something left, or 10 kilometers left, his swimming partner like became unconscious swimming, and he had to save them and get them out of the water into the boat, and then they had to pack it up, and he couldn't finish. So
fuck.
back in. Oh,
So,
no.
so for me to tell that story, I never say he almost swam. I'm just like, he swam the English Channel.
That's nice. After 150 odd episodes, that's the first time you've ever brought that up on the pod.
Have I not told that? Yeah, well, my granddad almost swam.
Well, my
English
granddad, my nono, will never swim again because his ship got blown up by the English when he was in the Italian World War II.
What?
And all of his mates got eaten by sharks, so he never went back in the water again. So,
Oh.
That's so. Speaking of sharks, every morning I go for a swim at Mullaloo. I'll put it on my story. I'm basically down Mullaloo every day.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
My brother was supposed to do his what's the word? Bronze medallion. So they're about to go in the water, and then the two tiger
sharks.
He's stoked because he can't swim.
But every day I'm down there in that in that spot.
Yeah, nice.
I went down there this morning and I was like, I'll be a little more cautious.
Scary.
Yeah.
But so that motivation is you don't want to be almost doing it, and you just find that headspace. Is there so what you'll find, I've got ADHD and I'll go on little tangents and then we'll bring it back. Is there stipulations from Guinness World Records that you have to do it without earphones or anything like that? Or is there a stipulation where it has to be officially measured by somebody that's accompanying you?
Yeah, great questions. And this is actually going back to my friends in the UK. So the Guinness Book of Records didn't get back to me for months. So what you do is you put in an application and it takes them an F ton of time to get back to you. And I'd already started running. So I had zero idea of what I needed to do. I had learned, because my original plan was to run 10Ks before breakfast, have some food, sit down, go again in the middle of the day, and then go again at night. But you can't do that. So you have to do it as a continuous run, which makes sense, really makes sense. But the girls actually told me, hey, you need what all the regulations were, and they could have led me up the garden path here. They could have been
Are you saying that the world record girls that tighter? There's no way I'm listening to them, mate.
They gave me the guidelines, and I was like, man, that's so kudos to them. But so you can't use Strava, but you need a GPS track the distance. You need a logbook. You need, a lot of boring shit. You need like a photo with your name and where you ran, and witnesses, all that stuff.
Wow, it's like a wedding. You need the logbook, the witnesses.
Yeah, because we did a application to Guinness World Records like about 3 years ago. We were like, how much? Like, what is it going to take to do the longest ever podcast?
Yeah,
and it took them ages to get back to it.
But we had a reply.
Yeah,
did you get a scam? Like someone saying, "Oh, it'll cost you like $10,000 to apply or something like that," or was that just? So we got. Yeah, after like the first, we got a reply like, you've done it. It's going to cost you. It was like a stupid amount. And we're like, fuck, we'll get sponsors to do it. And then we actually got the proper reply maybe 6 to 8 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the world record. I was like, thank fuck we didn't like pay Did you have to pay a rego fee with Guinness?
No. It was free. So I'm really glad, because I'm naive. I would have paid
it. Well, we were going to.
We were going to.
Fuck that. No way. And then like a couple of months later, we got a real response. And we're like, so it doesn't cost that much. But it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like a stupid. And that's why
like
you
7
think
or 8 days straight or something like that.
The world record. Longest nonstop pod was like nearly 120 hours or something. So 6 days without sleep. So the guy was definitely on meth.
So it was non-drug assisted. It was you couldn't have all that sort of stuff. There were rules to it, but
I allegedly would definitely be bringing in my whole prescription to stay awake.
I allegedly would be using more than a prescription.
So you've done what were the regulations for people listening? So you couldn't stop, you needed to do the photo, and you needed to have a specific brand of sat nav, or just anything?
It can be any like Garmin Chorus, whatever. It just needs to be a specific file. .kml for anyone that knows. I had to learn specific map. And then you need witnesses to watch you start and finish, which is where support crew also comes handy, because they can second as witnesses. And a logbook of every single start, location, where you went, time it took you, all that stuff.
Wow. Is there a stat deck for the witnesses? Like they have to say, I'm not going to lie and cheat?
Yeah. So that's probably the main rules. But
allegedly they could.
They could allegedly
just go,
It's like a wedding.
She did it. Yeah.
You're not supposed to lie or cheat. But allegedly. You can.
I mean, yeah, everyone can lie and cheat. I'm not, I'm not out here to do that. I'm just out here to have a good time. But yeah, I mean, sure, you could. There's probably a million ways, to be honest. But my question to you is, did you break the record for the longest podcast?
After learning the length, we didn't even attempt.
Fuck that.
I actually think it would be very, very, very bad for our health, like staying awake that long.
Yeah, because you couldn't have rotating panel. If it was me and Delby, we'd have to both be on the whole time.
Yeah,
you could have rotating guests, but we couldn't.
Yeah, I think for my back, when I don't sleep after a music festival because I am sober and enjoying it, the next day my back is really sore.
Yeah, but that might be your kidneys dealing with.
Yeah, maybe
drink, maybe.
Yeah,
but So another thing I was interested in. So you're running for the animals, I see. So now was this in the same vein that when I did the 100, I decided I was going to do this 100-kilometer marathon regardless, and then not to run for suicide prevention, but thought while I'm doing it, I might as well raise money for a good cause. Is this what you thought, something you felt passionate about before? Or is it, I'm going to figure out a way to raise money for the animals? Or is it, I'm running this no matter what?
And then the second,
and then I'll raise money for the animals whilst I'm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've always loved Australian native animals. It's been a passion of mine since I was a kid. So it's not out of nowhere. You have to find a cause per se, but I was always going to do this run, and it just felt like a really important, it would be almost not, a really important way to collaborate and do them both together, if that makes sense. It's like, well, I'm already doing this incredible thing. I can make it worthwhile for a cause that's really close to my heart. So I definitely think the run came first.
Yeah. Okay. I guess you are running through their environment as well. So it's a nice little, it's instead of giving the ranger 180 a night, you're just giving the animals their money.
And that's part of the run. So we're promoting local extinctions, right? So I'm running through all these, localities and national parks that have their own specific issue. And so the idea is to sort of discuss those issues as we go down. And even on more of a macro perspective, every state and territory that I run through, the representative animal is endangered. So, you've got your koala in Queensland, in Victoria, the leadbeater's possum, and even in Western Australia, the numbat, they're all endangered.
Oh, I thought it was Logan, but they're massive amounts over here. So the numbat, right.
Endangered, that's for sure. It's mozzies galore.
Yeah.
More endangered.
Yeah. Well, so have you managed to just by chance see any of those animals that are extinct as you're running?
Yeah. Well, have you seen, what's that? The Black Panther, the
Australian big cat.
Yeah, they keep seeing a Black Panthers in sort of regional parts of Australia.
It's just Wakanda forever.
Just Wakanda forever. Just promotional guerrilla marketing.
Just guerrilla marketing. Yeah. Have you seen anything cool on the run?
Not a panda or a panther. I've definitely seen, the coolest for me were the crocs up north. I love crocs. They're so fun. Didn't go into any of the water. I saw a massive groper off the shore of up north too. All the cool animals are up north.
There's a massive groper in Northbridge the other week, and he got arrested. So it was a bit of a different one. Well, how do you see a massive groper if it's in the? Is it in the water? It's a fish, right?
I was taking a look at pier.
You were jogging on a pier?
Yeah, just for fun, and it was just there. It was massive. So I've seen, that was probably one of the coolest things. I've seen a bit of everything really. Heaps of snakes. Didn't see any cassowaries. That would have been nice though.
They're fucking dangerous though. They kill quite a few people.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably don't want to see one in public. They're one of the most dangerous birds on the planet, aren't they? I think.
Yeah. Other than Pauline Hanson, is there that's only over Easter, right? Cassowary is endemic just to Queensland?
Just to the Cassowary coast even. So it's that's it. So ran through it, didn't see a cassowary. Didn't even see a snippet of one. But no, that would have been cool. But you're right, they're super dangerous. So I'm probably just
I'm surprised at how much energy you have right now as well. Like you're very bubbly and infectious. I feel excited.
Let's run.
Well, I'm gonna run after this. I literally am gonna go for a run.
Well, that's why I just these things obviously when people listen to them, it motivates them to do the same thing. We got plenty of messages after I did the 100. People were like, I've got to do something like that. But you must get a lot of messages from people saying you're such an inspiration. I'm going to start running. I'm going to do that sort of stuff because you're very bubbly on your content and social media. And it's very shocking when you realize you're running so many marathons back to back.
I think I'm just a positive person, and I see so much positivity in the world that I really struggle to pull. And if I'm just trying to be myself, you know, for me, socials has to be a transparent look at what we're doing. And honestly, like that is genuinely who I am as a person. So to put anything else on there would feel almost, because you get so much more, I guess, feedback when you're struggling and like, you know, you can do it, push through. But I almost am too positive. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a little bit injured. I'll keep going. It'll be all right. We'll get through. You know, day after day, I'll just eat a lot of food. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it as real as I can, authentic as I can. And yeah, I do see a lot of good in what I'm doing. I mean, at the end of the day, I love being out here. I love running. I mean, maybe I would cut the distance down a little bit so I have more energy for life, but it's 150 days. I'll probably get through it.
Yeah, we will. Probably. You will get through it. You'll definitely get through it.
Have you ever run an ultra marathon?
Oh, I can't believe you did 100. I did one ultra, the Guzzler in Brisbane, in preparation for this 2 weeks out. It was 50 kilometers. They told me it was.
That's cute.
Just
told the world record holder that was.
He said it was 50. It ended up being 54 kilometers. The last 4 kilometers of that ultra was packed on was the hardest 4 kilometers of my life. And then get this, I was the first female across the line. I'd won. I was like celebrating this big achievement, and they DQ'd me because I didn't have enough water on me. So it was for nothing.
What the fuck?
Well, we ran our own one, so there was no DQ in it. Like...
What is that because of health? So hang on, you got Karen'd in an ultra marathon.
Absolutely. So you have to have mandatory gear, which is new to me. I took heaps of water. I took what I take, like 1.2 liters, but you needed 1.5. It was stupid. So yeah, not salty, just saying. I got DQ'd with my first
Well, in a similar vein, ours was meant to be 100 kilometers and ended up being, through lack of planning, 102.9 kilometers. Yeah. Those last 2.9 kilometers, I remember so stupidly, we got a strength and conditioning coach who's an Ironman himself and very good to come on the last leg and run with us. And he was trying to go, come on, Ben, we can do it. Like, keep us to a certain point. And then when we got to 100 kilometers, he was like, 100 kilometers, boys.
Oh, why did he say that?
I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
we still got 2.9.
You're in an angry place. You're in an angry place when you have to go further than you think. Like, I've had one marathon out here where I stopped my Garmin to go to the bathroom and forgot to start it again for like kilometers. Oh, man. I was not a happy camper. I was cryotherapy right there.
Oh, yeah. So you had to run those extra Ks to make it up, right?
Yeah, you have to. Guinness.
Fucking Guinness. How ironic that it's sponsored by a beer as well.
Yeah. That's tactical, but I guess. But do you use sodium and salts and tablets and those sorts of gels?
Being the
as
nutritionist.
Well?
Yeah, I just eat food though because I'm out there so much. If I took gels every day, I wouldn't have any teeth left. So it's
so sickening. And
why is it really sweet? Like, is it glucose or something?
Yeah. Straight sugar.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember we got quite sick almost at the end. Like, we were having them and we'd start getting dizzy and it was like too much sugar, I think. And then Corey at the end, he was like, no, all good, man. Just drink water now and eat whatever you want now. But
so you've come in with some form of a plan. You've been running your whole life and you're a nutritionist. So that's not really a concern, is it?
Oh, this is the one area I think I've got covered. Like, I deliberately put on 5 kilos to do this, which was fun, you know, just cutting up a little bit. So, so I came in heavier than I am. So I felt like a bit sluggish, but I felt healthier. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably slowly losing it, but yeah, I'm eating about 6,000 calories a day. So I'm eating I had a box of shakes from the car just to the door, you know. Then you have 4 big meals a day, mostly big pastas or pizzas, and you know, I'm eating a lot. So I think from that space, that's probably my favorite part of this.
So good. Hot tip, guys, if you want to eat what you want, just run a marathon a day.
Yeah.
You can eat anything you want.
Corey Green is wrong. You can out-train a bad diet.
So fill me in with a little bit of nutritional advice. So what's the main thing you need? Is it just carbohydrates? Is it glucose? Is it sugars? Is it salts? What, for people that are laymen, what has been the most important with the scientific backing of a nutritionist?
It's the time of day. So I want to make sure before I start, I'm having some carbs. So my breakfast is a really simple meal. Actually, it's just cereal, banana, some chia seeds, peanut butter. So it's quite simple. It's very high carb. Throughout the run, I'll have 2 hydrolytes or coconut water. So you're trying to get your salts and potassiums back. Yep. I'll also have maybe a couple of Cliff Bars or some, actual food.
Good, yeah.
What's in a Cliff Bar for those that don't know?
They're like a muesli bar, they're an energy bar in a way, like a carbohydrate-based energy bar.
Just a better version than a muesli bar. Muesli bars shit. This is good,
Yeah.
They're designed for hikers. So you want hiking food, so nuts, seeds, all that stuff, but also simple carbohydrates. And then afterwards, you probably want to focus on proteins and fats. So that's when your recovery comes in. You've got a glucose uptake window, which essentially just means your body's primed to absorb glucose in the 30 minutes after exercise.
Yep.
So you also, it's just a balanced meal after the run is what you want to do. So there's many ways you can do this. I mean, a chocolate milkshake covers all those bases: sugar, fat, protein, but so would eggs on toast or anything along those lines. And then you want to make sure you're always hydrated, so it's heaps of water throughout the day. You're craving saltier foods, you probably were after 100, just craving hot chips. Salty.
Would you be able to have that without an issue?
Yeah, I can.
Wicked.
Yeah, I can put it away.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's because the eating, I've always been I don't know what it'd be like over and over.
So many different advices from so many different professionals that don't probably run marathons that are trying to tell you what to eat and do. So,
and then the guidelines must go almost a bit out the door, because running 150 marathons back to back is so outside the boundaries of normal, like what a normal athlete would do. You could probably just go above and beyond and do almost what you want.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would never prescribe my diet to anything. I had a creamy soda yesterday. I haven't had a creamy soda since I was 7.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And with that glucose uptake after a half an hour, does that mean that your body is just converting the sugars you have immediately, or what does that actually mean in terms of?
Yeah, or just immediately after. So essentially what your body's doing is allowing a recovery. So it just essentially means that if you eat in that first little window after doing something, your body is more efficient at pulling that glucose out of your blood into your muscles to store. So it's recovering faster, if that makes sense. Yeah. It'll still do it anytime going forwards. But you've got this window where it will almost, it's a battery that will charge a little bit quicker. Okay. If that makes sense.
And is that because it shuts down other functions of your body and focuses on the digestion, or is it just your body's going, give me this so I can repair that?
Yeah, essentially you've stopped your fight or flight mode, which is your exercise. You've stopped the stress and now you're in recovery. So it just kind of, speeds you back up again. Okay. So I don't know. For me, I mean, again, I just need a lot. So I gave up trying to be healthy a couple of weeks in because I just wasn't consuming enough. And now I'm supplementing kind of 3 healthy meals with just whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
That's
epic.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so this is what I think everyone will want to know. How are your feet?
No, that's just your OnlyFans subscribing account, Branchy. That's different.
So my feet were cooked after the run. Blisters wise, and I've now, it took a while, but I lost 2 toenails and one's still hanging on at the moment. It's like flapping every time I go on the beach at the moment. I can feel it like
a flapjack
flapping around. But how are your feet? Like, are they blistered? Are they toenails falling off? Like, what's the go? Because Ned Brockman, he
had maggots in his toe.
Maggots in his toe. So have you had anything bad like that going on?
Yeah, no maggots, luckily. I don't know if I could deal with that, but I have had blisters at the start, but actually my feet have turned into a giant callus. You know, when you lift so much weights, you get calluses on your hands. My feet are just that. Every single toe is a callus. At the bottom of my foot, my heel, it's just a callus. So it'd be a nightmare to clean up. But I haven't lost any toenails yet. They're just a hardened forest foot at the moment. Just
Forest stump.
You'd be a dream. But those people who love like pimple popper or those sorts of things that they get
foot shaving.
Yeah, the foot shaving. Have you ever watched the foot shaving and they shave the
does
callus?
look satisfying.
It looks so satisfying.
You could shave an inch off my feet.
I'd give anything to have an extra inch to shave off. I think we're going to drop one pun every 15 minutes. Did you get your shoes sponsored?
Yeah, so my shoe sponsor is Western Australia. Tarkine. So it's Tarkine Running. So they're a sustainable they use recycled goods to make the shoes. So I was aligned with sort of the run's philosophy or the cause, and then they donate profits to the Tarkine Forest in Tassie. So again, super aligned. Western Australian startup. They've only had their third shoe released, and that's just a prototype that I'm about to receive. So yeah, I got behind a new upstart from Western Australia, and I'm so glad I did. They're such a good shoe.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, they haven't lost you any toenails. So are they called Tarkine, the company, or is it this shoe is called a Tarkine because they're donating to Tarkine?
No, it's the company is Tarkine Running.
Right. Yeah. And they're donating to a Tasmanian, but they're from WA.
Yeah. Actually, I never thought of that.
Interesting. But that's pretty cool. So if anyone wants them, shout out to Tarkine Running. They use recycled materials. So all of the shaved calluses are getting put back into making shoes. What kind of recycled materials do you know? Is it just like what people donate stuff to op shops, or
recycled material? These are calluses.
Yeah, offshoots of foot. No, I think it's tires, but don't quote me on that because I don't want to get them in trouble. But I think it's tires, old tires and bits and pieces and like plastics and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to ask.
Are they fashionable or are they more just for use? Do they look like?
There's some great colors. I mean, I can't find a pair near me, but I've got a blue pair. I've got a bright green pair. I think they look good. I'm a big fan. So yeah, I've had nothing but like good things to say about them from day one.
Oh, and we were talking about Ned Brockman before. Are you pissed off that he did this run around the same time that you've done yours? Is this just by chance?
I've outrun him by 100 days now. So like 80 days now or something. I mean, to be honest, it was not great timing, and not even just for me. There's a few people out here like Will who did the exact same run and kind of flew under the radar a little bit. But kudos.
He did the same run as Ned or same run as you?
Same run as Ned. So went from Western Australia to Sydney or Byron Bay, and like around the same time, and just like.
Did he like?
So just bad marketing.
Did he beat a record, or did he? Because Ned beat the record.
No, Ned didn't. Ned didn't. This guy did, but he went for a different record.
Oh, Will. What? I heard it where there's a will, there's a way. Turns out where there's a will, there's a Ned that fucks up all your achievements.
So wait, we need to get this out there. So Will who?
Yeah.
His name's Will Burnett. He's the mind mechanic on Instagram. He ran 50K a day, minimum, from Western Australia to Byron Bay. He only finished 2 weeks ago or something too. And he did it all for veteran mental health and suicide prevention, similar to yourself.
Mate, that's what Mick Ledhill brings one of our past guests. Oh, that's all right. Fuck, maybe we can reach out to Will and give him a little bit of.
Is Will West Australian or was he in Sydney?
He lives in and around that area. He ran into Byron Bay, so he's a East Coast kid.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. But I followed his journey the whole way. He's super inspiring. He got 17 days into his record, and his Garmin ran out of battery and started again. Like wow.
So what? He had to start fresh from 17 days.
Yeah. He went back and started the record. Yeah.
God.
Gnarly. So
talk about that is mental resilience at its finest. Like. Fuck, man. Yours stopped after a few Ks and mentally to reset after 17 days, and it resets and starts again.
So for the records, oh my God. So
I met a guy in, where was I? Cessnock, which is like Hunter Valley, Sydney. He offered a house for us to stay in, an Airbnb. Legend. He'd been running 147 half marathons the day that I met him. And I said to him, mate, the record's like 229. Why don't you go for it? But he hadn't been tracking them on a watch. So he started the next day, sent me a message, buys a Garmin, sends me a photo of it, and he goes, all right, I'm going to start the record 149 days in.
Oh, man. So that means his actual record will be, if it was 200 odd days, it's going to be nearly a year of running half marathons.
And so does that make you go, maybe someone's done it before and they
haven't,
and then they're going to call you out on social media and go, oh, it's bullshit.
Probably. And if they do, that's fine. Like I'm going for Guinness World Record that's like on Guinness. If someone's run more marathons, kudos to them. Like I just don't know about it. So you can only do what you know, right? Yeah. Maybe I'll try and hit their record and just run back up to the Cape or something. I don't know.
Well, David Goggins is in town soon, isn't he?
I don't know.
In Sydney, I'm pretty certain. But that might be in February. Would that align actually with when you're sort of finishing?
Are you a David Goggins fan?
Yeah, that's interesting. What are your thoughts on David Goggins of just fucking do it? Because do you know what? Like, I didn't intentionally do it like this, but I really a lack of prep and a lack of care of being like cautious. There's so many things that could have gone wrong. I just went and did it. And it ended up being almost better because I reckon sometimes you get over prep, you can just fuck up and it's not that great. Is that what you're sort of doing? Do you like that sort of idea that he goes, or do you think it's dangerous?
Oh no, I've 100% done this. I had no idea what to expect. Like every single day is a new day, and if I knew how hard this was, I probably never would have done it. I'm all about that. Just do it. That's how I did my first ultra. That's how I've done literally everything in my life. I think sometimes that first thing you do, you're naive, and it kind of is the only reason you do it because you don't understand how shit it will be when you do it. So no, I'm a big fan of that actually.
I think especially for people like yourself, and I like to put myself in that category, mental resilience isn't the issue. It's for like with a run, it's always mechanical failure. Have you come across that a few times where you're like, fuck, I know you said you have had a few niggles, but nothing too bad, but there must have been a few times where you're going, fuck, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's going to stop me is if something goes wrong with my body. It got really bad to the point that I had to walk 10 or not quite, almost 10 kilometers. And that was just excruciating. In hindsight, I don't know why I pushed through it. Every single step hurt. I had to walk barefoot for a while just because the pain was so bad. And I did fly through the Daintree faster than I wanted to because I had a physio in the other side of the Daintree, Cairns, Port Douglas. Anyway, I had a physio that was like kindly offered to help and meet me kind of remote a little bit. But yeah, it's absolutely only my body that will stop me. And we've had so many car issues, like cars broken down in some weird locations. But that can be fixed. It's just hopefully whatever happens to me can be fixed if enough time to run again the next day, which is not a long turnaround.
Half strain and car strains. It's just avoid anything that starts with C on your run.
Yeah. Because I did see with Ned, like he went through a real bad one about.
We had to lift his foot up.
Yeah. Like he was going to have surgery.
Who is Ned? Let's talk about Will.
Yeah.
Well, Ned was lucky because he had a massive marketing budget. And I think what he nailed as well was he nailed the marketing of it. Like everyone knew about it. And it was such a like success from that point of view. To raise that much money for charity is amazing. So like not taking anything from that. And I think everyone got behind the whole underdog story, right? Yeah. He's a runner, definitely, but he's still like, he's a tradie. He's like,
got the blonde hair, looks like a surfy dude, full proper Aussie. Is he 22 or something as well? 23. Like, is it
23.
Yeah.
Well, I came into this a little bit more, I guess, prepared in a way. Like I am a runner. I definitely respect the distance because, to be honest, if you like, Ned did get injured. If you don't respect the distance, it'll fuck you up. Like you gotta give. This is a big thing I'm trying to do. So I'm very much working with it. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I get to the finish line because that's what matters to me. But in the end of the day, what he did do was shine a light on endurance events like this. And to be honest, there's a lot of attention now on these crazy country crossing runs where maybe previously there wouldn't have been. So I have to say, like, there's definitely benefits all around, So yeah, kudos to him.
I feel like everything's getting stepped up. It's like, oh, we got an ultra marathon. Oh, I'm going to run to Sydney. I'm going to do what you're doing, 150. Is there going to be one where Jesus just runs on water? Like we need. Like, what's the next thing? I think there's someone going for a record running around the world at the moment.
Yeah.
This guy?
Yep, Timmy Franklin. I went for a run with him in Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. So he's in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah.
He has to run 65 kilometers a day for 400 days around the world or something crazy.
Yeah. Once you've done that, like, what do? You just got to hit up Elon Musk to do Mars next or something. Like,
well, that's Mars is smaller.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, easy.
But like there is I think there's a trail that goes where you can run the whole way, where it's all linked. And is it from the bottom of Africa down up through, I think, up to Russia somewhere?
No, that's just Alan Roberts' path. That
yeah.
The motorbike.
But there is a trail there that you can walk the whole way without even getting on boats or anything, I think, isn't there? Is there a joint?
I'm not sure.
I think,
There is, because everybody sent it to me when it circulated. They're like, "Oh, is this your next challenge?"
Yeah. Because you can see all the seasons as well, and all of the It's
well, mate, humans did it like 10, 12,000 years ago, whatever it was. They walked from Africa to everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just going back to the roots.
Yeah.
What's been the most enjoyable part? Was it seeing the support? Is it getting nice messages? Oh, have you been trolled? Has anybody just been a fuckhead and sent you dumb shit?
Yeah, you get comments. Yep, absolutely you do. I've had a lot of those. I kind of just try to ignore them as best as possible. If some of my videos kind of get a bit of traction, that you get just people that have zero concept that just comment on that one video, they're the best because they're really fun and out of context and you just kind of go with the flow there. But yeah, I've had a few people troll, but to be honest, 99% of people have been great, like super great. So you can't really complain.
What are you going to troll? Like,
just like
fuck you Ned Brockman wannabe. Like, is that fuck? Will's better than you. Like, is that what they like? What have they got to? They've got nothing.
Someone said, "Oh, I used to do 40K runs, trail runs for my training. It's not just like it's not that hard." And I'm like, "Hey,
what do it then, you fucking freak?"
Yeah,
Jesus,
mate. Some people are just fucking idiots as well. And like social media, you get people that it's just not real. It's not real life.
Yeah.
They just say dumb shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully they go extinct and we don't raise any money for them. For troll.
And the funnest part is watching my friends go into battle because I let it go, right? You can't get my friends will go into battle for me and you'll just like you click comment and you'll see all the replies and it's like a 75 conversation down of just like rah rah.
But you had
it's good for the algorithm.
Yeah. You had a huge amount of support from a lot of celebrities as well, which was I seen that recent post when you did break the record, and a lot of people behind you know what's going on. I guess you've done a bit of media and stuff to promote it as well. But
who's the biggest name that we've had support?
Yeah, do you reckon it was Dicko?
Yeah,
Dicko, Australian Idol Dicko, Ian Dixon. Nice.
There was there's a good had a huge range of people, even people like Lee Montagna and like Hamish and Andy and these sorts of guys. Like
it's been really great. I mean, I'm super humbled by everyone that's got behind it. We are a small team, to be honest. It's just me and my partner, and he's the one that makes the videos. Well, we do it together. Everything's done together. But yeah, we're just two people. We don't have a marketing budget. I run all day and try and stay awake in the afternoons to share the story.
So have you already done your run today? Or
yeah. Right. Yep. I ran along a fire trail for 4.5 hours in the freezing mountainous weather. But no, I have, and then jumped in the car.
What was that called? The Elon Musk trail, the fire trail? It's just all Twitter employees just dead and buried along the way.
I love Elon. He's just lost his spot as the richest person.
Yeah. By $7 billion.
What?
Yeah, he's down by $7 billion.
Oh. Because
I think because of Twitter.
Yeah.
The Tesla shares dropped 50% in the last year.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Tesla and the Twitter clusterfuck. They were the reasons.
It's something I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He's still number 2 or something. The Louis Vuitton owner. French guy. Arnaud or something like that. Yeah, or Bernard or something.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, some rich fuck.
Yeah.
But I think Balenciaga aren't as popular as Louis Vuitton at the moment, so maybe they've lost a bit more than Elon.
Oh fuck!
But if Elon's listening and you want to sponsor, buddy, if somebody could tweet this, we'll clip this and tweet it. Elon, We have your number one fan, and she needs to save the animals.
Help me out. Yeah. I'm living on people's couches.
Yes.
What do you?
He sleeps on his couch, so he might resonate with that in the factory when he works. He sleeps on the couch.
Really?
Yeah, so he could get more done at Tesla.
Oh, fuck.
So let's do it, Elon. Chuck in a little donation.
I was going to ask you, headphones. What are you listening to? Like when you're running, like, are you just are you zoning out? Are you like talking? Because I don't know. First time I ever did an ultra, I did an 80-kilometer ultra. I did it all by myself, no training, and I was in the fucking hurt locker. And I needed motivational speeches. I needed podcasts to zone out. I needed that. And then the second run, I prepped up a little bit more, and I actually was fine with just talking to mates as they were running by. What are you doing? And like, what do you prefer?
Yeah, I don't need music. I trained prior to this without any headphones. My coach actually preferred I didn't train with them because you don't race with headphones. So I don't actually need anything. Out here's a little different because it's so much more time on the road. So my preference is talking to people. If there's someone in and around, it's always my preference. But then I'll probably go to a podcast or like a news. I'm listening to a lot of like news and politics and just kind of keeping up to date with the world because I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And then I think music would be my third choice. I try and leave music for when I need an up, like a lift me up. Yeah. That's when I'll turn on a tune and just kind of bop along.
Is it? I'm assuming your number one listen to podcast is the Hard Yarns.
But there's an episode ultra marathon one. That's a good one with the Green Reaper boys and you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually,
and we've got some politics on there with the American election.
Yeah. But regardless, aside from us, who do you sort of go for?
Yeah,
like, what's your go-to? Is it motivational? Like, is it or Joe Rogan or fucking what are you?
Friedman.
So I listen to, it's called the Adventure Podcast. It's about these kind of people in a similar level of nuts in a way where they go out and do these absolute inspiring things. It kind of makes me feel like I'm not alone in the world, which is really fun. Yeah. I listen to a lot of running-based podcasts just because I know a lot of the athletes on them. So I guess For the Kudos, Inside Running. It's like listening to your friends chat. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. It's like that runners club I was talking about earlier. It's literally your club of friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you'll message like, funny joke on, it's just, it's just chat really. They're probably the main ones I flick through. And then I've been sent a list of recommendations, like Rich Roll podcast, just a lot of people throwing in recommendations. So I try and get through those because I figure if I've been told to listen to them, they obviously think it has something to do, like it'll help me out. So I have a big list of that I'm currently working through.
Yeah, cool. The one thing from the very start that I forgot to ask you, you said you needed to work out your pace. What is your pace? What's your timing and your pace?
Yeah, so my average pace that you'll see on Strava is not actually what I run. So what I do is I walk when I need food or hydration. I stop and walk for that. So I'm always moving because it makes me feel better. Yep. So I probably run between 5:15 and 5:30 pace for while I'm running.
That's and then what I do for 5Ks. That's like... How?
Unless I'm going up a hill, in which case it's obviously a lot slower. But if I'm on the flat or, I'm just cruising, that's usually it. And then I'll walk and, drink and do all that.
Is that what you would consider your zone 2 sort of style of run?
Yeah, that's I had to learn to slow down for this. My running pace was minutes faster than this. And so it actually, my first 3 marathons were under like 3 hours 40 or something, like stupidly fast. Yeah. Which was slow for me back then. But now I understand that, it's a very different ball game and it was a really big mental shift because back when I was training at a semi-elite level, if you see your split slow down, you kind of think that that's a failure and you think, I must be feeling bad, I'm slowing down, and then you get in your head and then you just feel shit and, it escalates. But now it's completely opposite. You have to reframe it and think, okay, well, I just need to get to the finish line. That's the only objective of this. Yeah. It doesn't really matter what the pace is. And it took weeks to do that. Weeks.
Yeah, because to run a marathon in under 3 hours is 4:16 pace. So is that like would if you were running in a
competition?
Competition. What are you running a marathon in? Just standard?
Yeah, probably like 2 hours 50.
Wow. So that's like 4:10 pace.
It's like 4 minute 4:03 or something, 4:02 pace. So yeah, obviously it's a lot slower out here, infinitely slower. but it doesn't feel slower because you're just like, it's now my pace. So I am worried I've wrecked all of my speed, and this is just me now on a steam train that just keeps on going, but hopefully not.
What's the aim after this? Are you going to go back to competitive marathons? Or are you going to look at more of these long-based endurance events? Because mentally, like when an AFL player retires, when they don't have footy anymore, you're going to have 150 days where the next day is not what you've done for half the year. Like, what's the mental shift and what's the plan?
I'm really worried I'll put on like 25 kilos. So I'll keep 1,000 calories a day.
I think you can afford to be fair. Yeah. But I empathize with what Delby was saying, because that's what I've done since I finished football. I wanted to like continue to challenge myself. But I remember the next morning after the 100, I messaged Steve and I was like, right, what's next? So like, are you already thinking like you've still got 15, you've still got what, 15, 20 days, 22 days?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, absolutely. I am. Today's the first kind of day that I picked out. I went to apply for Valencia Marathon this morning. So yeah, I am thinking about it. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what life's going to be like after this. I mean, you know, I quit, so I'll be an unemployed adventurer at that point. But I will do something. This is definitely lit a fire in my belly to continue to kind of stretch the limits. Because so my whole point out here was to push my limits of, I guess, my physical limits. And if I get to Melbourne, maybe it's not my limit. So, I mean, maybe the next thing I do, I'll try and push them a little bit further in a different capacity. I think 150 is enough marathons, but like I'll find a different.
If you wake up the next day and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do one more. Are you going to go and do 151, or is it you're just going to stop?
I'm planning to have a large amount of beverages on night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would be somewhat escalated to what the record was, but the record must have been very emotional and must have been such a big point, because what was that? 108 days was the record. You had a crowd of people get there and support you.
Was it 106 that they titled?
107.
So 107.
Yeah. So 107. I bet. Yeah, I was actually so flat. It's funny you say that. For the week after the record, I was not in the right headspace. I was not enjoying it. I think as the hype had disappeared, I was like, I'm just kind of running now. No one really, you've already done it. You've beaten it. You know, it's Christmas. No one really cares anymore. And it was actually someone reached out and messaged me and said, hey, you know, every single day now you're waking up and you're going to beat the world record. Every single day you're breaking the world record. So don't stop. Like, you know, it was a really good mindset, because I was a bit down really after it. I picked up now.
Every single day you should go, hey guys, I set a new world record today. And then, hey guys, set a new world record. I am a 10-time world record holder. Or however many it's been.
I've broken my own record.
Yeah, you're going to be a 34-time world record holder in a row, because each day you're going to break the world record.
You know, the record for the most amount of ultras is only, I think, 26 in a row. That's Guinness. I honestly think it's been beaten more than that. But I'm like, I've got 26 days left. I could break that one too.
So an ultra is anything longer, basically. Then is it 50 kilometers?
Yeah, it'd be 50, I reckon, minimum. It would be like, over a marathon. I think 50.
How many?
Minimum.
It's 26.
26 in a row. And how many days have you got left?
What am I on? 30 to 32? I could.
Oh.
Could. I don't know if I want to. I don't know. But I'm
double world record. You'd be the
double.
You'd be the Conor McGregor. You'd be the double champ.
Double.
Because what is it, over 50, did you say? Or over 52?
Yeah, and I keep telling myself it's only 8 Ks extra, but then I get to 42 every day. I'm like,
you reckon you could walk the end 8 every day?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad idea.
That could be pretty cool. That could be cool.
I wonder.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'm not joking. I wonder if I could do that.
Over 50 a day?
Over 50 a day.
Well, let's not steal the
days.
from the double champ.
But I'm just trying to say, yeah. Go for the double champ.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's something that's possible. Like 50, like, I don't know.
No, so your body would probably.
Yeah, I don't even know how I'd pull up after just a marathon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if I could run a marathon.
How do you pull up just after a normal marathon? Going at a full pace, because going is still fine, or?
Terribly. I can't run for like a week. Like, it's a very different ball game. Yeah.
You're going with the revs fully, just all the way.
Yeah. I can't stand the next day after a race. Like I'm cooked, you know. Your quads are just, but on that, the men's, what is it, ultra? That's what Will got. So it's really high because he would have done it for like 50 or something days. So I think the men's is a little bit harder to beat.
Yeah, well, there you go. No, yeah. So don't.
I thought we were all being, you know,
equal.
Where's
the quality?
Where's the quality?
Where is the quality?
I'll just go for the women's one. Actually, I identify now as a woman. I'm gonna.
The one I'm going for, the men's is only 67. I've smashed that. The Guinness World Record for men. Yeah, I mean it's been officially broken by a Spanish guy that ran like 300, but the Guinness World Record for the men's is like only 60.
So 60 days in a row of marathons.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's try do it for man. Yeah. Can we do it?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I could ever do it, but maybe. Fuck, man, that would be epic.
So what I'm interested in, this is like I've heard this a bit. So women generally, I guess maybe not broadly, but women seem to be the elite of the ultra and the long distance running. Is that, do you think, maybe because a lighter frame, or I don't know what it is, but who was the girl who
women can endure pain much more better than men.
I think
it's Courtney Dauwalter.
Courtney Dauwalter, yeah.
Yeah, she smashes the men. And I think I truly believe that it is like women. So men can get down to a really lower body fat percentage than women, just because for, I guess, women's stuff, it's like they hold a lot more weight around their abdomen and their hips. I think personally it's just because of that, because we have, I guess, more ability to burn fat at a lower rate for longer. Once it hits that 80K mark, women kind of can just keep going, where men seem to run out of juice at that. But it's a weird
much like sex.
I think that's where I first heard about like ultra marathon was
that chick that was smashing
Courtney Dauwalter on Joe Rogan. I was like, this is incredible. And then she won that I think it was Ultra 240 it was in Death Valley. She won it by 11 hours.
It's insane.
Badass.
Like 11 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Ridiculous.
Far out.
How do you win a race?
The cool thing about Courtney is she just lives off like jelly beans and beer. Like,
yeah, she just doesn't no prep. Like, I love that. And are you sort of in the similar vein to that? Like, just sort of carefree. Like, I'll have a beer. I'll have some jelly beans. Have you been drinking much on the trip?
Yeah, well, I have a beer sponsor. Shout out to Young Henry's. We have
more. How good.
Nice.
We have more beer on this trip than ever. I do try and rein it in, obviously. You're not going to do well with a hangover, but no, I'm not having all that many days without drinking. So, yeah, I'm just dropping the quantity down to one or two. So I
love that. It's such a daggy, cool little, like, just... Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. I'm conscious of your time, and I'm also conscious of my own time. I do need to go host a quiz. But
also, I've just realized you're going to miss Christmas and New Year's. So is that something that emotionally is going to hurt you, or you're not a big Chrissy person? Or
I'm an absolute huge Chrissy person. I'm
doesn't surprise me with your bubbliness.
It's my favorite day of the year, and I'm kind of in this space now where I'm getting a bit like, I had to plan it for seasonality, but I was like, man, I could have just stopped at 120. I'm a bit annoyed at my past self because you've already broken the record. It's already awesome. But because I've told the world I'm going to 150, everyone's going to think, oh, she didn't quite do what she said she was going to do. So yeah, it will be hard being on the road. I'll be in Canberra for Christmas, but it's my own little personal challenge, you know, being away during that time adds to the reason I'm out here. And it's not good enough reason to quit going back to that.
Well, being in Canberra, Chrissy, you don't need a white Chrissy. You can legally have a green Christmas in Canberra if you need some proper recovery.
Bit of pain relief. Yeah, perfect.
That's insane.
Do you use CBD oil? Because I know that's very good for inflammation.
Yeah, I have in the past. Not on this trip. I just sleep like a baby as it is, or, you know, I sleep very well. I don't need any assistance I have definitely in the past. I think it does wonders.
It's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much. You're an absolute fucking weapon for doing what you're doing. Is there anything you want to plug? You know, ways people can, you know, donate.
What's the name of the animal fund, and any sponsors that you want to shout out? Let's go.
So come join it's on Instagram and Facebook. So it's Tip to Toe 2022. You'll see everything that could go wrong and most probably will. We're raising money for the Wilderness Society. You can throw in some coin if you'd love to support my cause there. Links all on the bio, or the website's the same, Tip to Toe 2022. Most importantly, if I am running through somewhere you listen to, so I've only got 35 days left, or 30 less than 32, Sydney to Melbourne. Message me on Insta. I always reply.
When do you finish? Out of interest.
January the 16th in Melbourne.
Are you going to be there?
I'm pretty certain I'm in Melbourne.
Oh,
that could be fucking incredible.
Sick. Yeah, you will be, because I was going to Bali from the 6th to the 20th.
I'm pretty certain I'm there for work, just for. Oh, this is so good. I'm coming. I'm going to come to the end. This is fucking incredible.
Yeah, we're in the planning stages now of the finish line.
Come and run a leg.
Come and run a leg.
Yes.
This
is
sick.
Awesome. Yeah, so Wilderness and Young Henry's and Tarkine.
Yeah, and Track About Campers. But yeah, it's all on the website. Everyone that's got behind this, and everyone that's come run. So check it out, and come for a run at any time. I love the company.
So is it Tip with a number 2 or Tip TO toe?
TO. So TIP _TO _
toe.
No, sorry, 2.
We'll tag you in
Tip
it.
_2 _ toe. Yeah, 2022.
Which will soon be 2023, but
Yes. All right. Well, thanks heaps for your time. It's been really, really, really awesome chatting, and I'm inspired. I'm going to go run after this. Legit.
Really appreciate your time. Stay along. We're going to do a pre-roll for that, but really appreciate your time. You're a fucking weapon, and
thanks so much for having me. It's so much fun.
Awesome.